Welcome back, boys and girls, and today I am really excited about the review that I have for you. It's one of the best bullpup Tavor SAR in 2023. Gene Summer had this beauty and he wanted me to do the review for him. And I gotta tell you, I am truly excited and thank you, Gene. If you want to have a rifle that's really compact but shoots accurate as a full-size rifle, this is it. The barrel comes in 6.5 inch and 18 inches in this small compact rifle. At first, this kind of feels weird because the weight distribution is in the back. But when you have it against your shoulder and point, because all the weight is against your shoulder, it's really comfortable to point and very, very stable. And you can hold it up, aim a lot longer than the most rifles. Okay, this is the first time I ever held this rifle, and I have to be honest, having all the weight in the back and not having this on your shoulder, that magazine release tends to press against my wrist. So that's a little bit uncomfortable. It would have been better to have the magazine release button on the side like AR. Well, let's get on with the review and do some shooting. Gene Summer actually bought this gun for his wife. And I told him she's a lucky woman. And when I told my wife, she said she wanted a handbag instead of a gun. So I went quiet real fast. And he kept everything in the original box and he brought me the whole kabang. So let's take a look. As you know, IWI stands for Israel Weapon Industries. On this corner it says Golden Bullseye Award NRA 2014. So I'm really excited to see how accurate this is. So he brought me everything. Came with one magazine. And now this gun has some design flaws or some inconvenience. The first thing that everybody talked about is the original trigger on this rifle is horrible. It's heavy and gritty. So he replaced the trigger for $350 and that's the old one that came out of it. And he also replaced the chamber cover on the other side because that tends to blow the gas way too much. And this cost him $20. And he installed an EOTech red dot that cost him $400. And this rifle MSRP is $19.99. Sounds like a prince, right? But some years back, he paid $1,600 for it. So with everything, it cost him $23.70. It comes with a training kit and a manual and also a front sight adjuster. And he even brought me 2 boxes of 50 rounds, 5.56 ammunitions. And I couldn't thank him enough because nowadays ammunition is really hard to come by. Alright, let's go through the spec really quickly. Obviously this is semi-automatic and you could shoot 223 or 5.56 in it. The barrel length on this one is 16.5 inches long with a 1-to-7 twist and has a really long Picatinny rail that's really good. And overall length is 26.125 inches long and the weight is 7.9 pounds. And this comes with front and the rear folding sights. Open sights, but we're not going to worry about that. We have red dot. And they also have an optional conversion kit that you could convert this into 9mm. So that's another cool option. And this is the charging handle, safety, that's the magazine release, and the action release is actually down here. So that's very unusual, but I heard that this works really well. So we're going to test that out. Now you could switch the chamber port from this to other side, so it could be left-handed or right-handed. But what's really unique is that it has that big block blocking right here. So when the empty shell comes out, it will actually bounce off that and fly forward. So if you're trying to shoot with left hand, you won't have the empty shell hitting your face. It will actually bounce forward. Now as for the magazine, you could use any AR magazine, so you shouldn't have any problem. It is empty. Now honestly, this isn't really that comfortable. Action release. Okay, the action release works fine, but it's a little awkward. Now as I mentioned, at shooting range, we have to have all the magazines removed and chamber open. I was trying to figure out how to do that with this. And actually, I kind of figured it out. You pull the charging handle and you pull this out and it will stay open. So right there, it will stay open. Magazine release. Let's check the trigger. Wow, that's really sweet. It's got a little bit of pre-travel, but it's really light. I'll say that's about 3 pounds, or maybe even less. All right, let's check it out. Wow, 2 pounds and 14.8 ounces. So that's not even 3 pounds. It's definitely worth 350 bucks. Okay, let's weight the rifle. With the red dot on, it is 8 pounds and 13.5 ounces. So it's not a light rifle, but it's not that heavy either. As for the recoil pad, this looks really bulky, but it actually has some cushion. And the little button here, you could push that with your ammunition and pull this open, and then you could disassemble the rifle. Today I'm going to be shooting with a red dot, and I'm not going to disassemble the rifle, but I'm going to get a permission from Jean's Armory and maybe put a scope on it, the one that I had on the K2, and compare with AR-15 and see which is more accurate and which is easier to disassemble. Okay, let's hit the range and see how this thing shoots. Finally, the mask is not required in the range anymore, but it's getting really hot. Okay, I'm really excited to try this SAR and see how it shoots. First time shooting ever. Left upper target at 25 yards. The trigger is really nice, but it does have more fair recoil than AR-15. Okay, shooting it low at 7 o'clock.
I have a 3-minute warning, ceasefire in 3 minutes.
Okay, shooting a little low, 5 shot. I would say probably about 1.5 inch group, which is a little disappointing. But let's take it out to 50 yards and see what happens. Okay, this is with SAR at 25 yards. That's the 5-shot group. Not too impressive, but it's shooting a little low. Let's take it out to 50 yards and see how it shoots. Check this out. Now, honestly, I don't like this having it here at a shooting range. But that's near the bullseye. In the bullseye, very tight. Five shot is probably even more than 1 inch. Alright, first 5-shot group was down here, and then second 5-shot group at 50 was more to the center. So it's still very accurate. I think this should a lot better with a scope on it, and I'm gonna try that. Okay, this is a 25 yard, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is actually a little bit less than a 1.25 inch. And 5-shot at 50 yards is actually a 1.25. So they have similar group, very accurate, even with the red dot. And again, I want to try with a scope. Okay, we're gonna try a 5-shot rapid fire and see how she functions. Okay, we're gonna try a 5-shot rapid fire and see how she functions. Yeah, functions fine. Now, one thing that I noticed is that it does have a lot of gas blowback. It's kind of irritating my eye. Yeah, functions fine. Now, one thing that I noticed is that it does have a lot of gas blowback. It's kind of irritating my eye. Okay, for the accuracy wise, I'm gonna come back with the scope on and go for maybe 75 and 100 yard accuracy test on this rifle. But for now, let's have some fun hitting the clay pigeon at 120 yards. Okay, above 4, there's 3 clay pigeons. I'm gonna start from the left and I'm gonna put it right on the red dot. Hopefully I can see it with the red dot. I'm not sure. Bingo. I think I got it. He was shooting a little bit to the left, so I aimed at 3 o'clock right next to the clay pigeon and it's a hit. Bingo! Bingo! This thing is on it with red dot. Okay, you've seen it. This red dot is awesome. The dot was very clear, it wasn't blurred, and I could put on the 4-inch clay pigeon. It's a little pricey, but it's really awesome. Now, what do I think about the SAR? I think this is one of the best bullpup rifle. And if you want something that's really great for close combat, but that can also be used to reach out and touch someone, like 200-300 yards, this is it. And also having all the weight in the back, it's not really easy to carry by holding the pistol handle because it tends to fall. But if you hold it right here, it's much more comfortable carrying it. Only problem is that magazine release also gets in the way. And having a high forend here, it was really difficult to put on the rifle rest, especially with a Picatinny way in the bottom. And I didn't want to put in the barrel because that could disturb the barrel vibration and affect the accuracy. And in the back, having the action release down here was also a problem with bust out rest as well. But also has a great benefits as well. And this charging handle here, sitting down, I thought it was very uncomfortable. For standing up and charging it, it's really easy. So again, I want to thank Jeans Armory for lending me the gun and letting me do the review. And lastly, like always, thank God for what you have. Enjoy life with what you got. But mostly, thank God for the friends we have. See ya.